Isekai.
The Rebirth of the Malicious Empress of Military Lineage. Chapter 37, His Questioning. Young Mistress Gu Yu and Gings were somewhat vigilantly protective in front of Shen Miao, and made gaffes with their somewhat loud shouts. Moreover, this richly clad youth was extremely good, and noble-looking that one could not help but be suspicious of his identity. In the end, he was a stranger, thus, Gu Yu and Gings were afraid that something unexpected might happen. Gu Yu, Gings, go and stand guard at the entrance of the forest, Shen Miao said. But, young lady. Both of them were somewhat hesitant. Go then. Shen Miao slightly frowned. They did not know why, but she was now adept at giving orders. Whenever orders were given to the servants, there would also be an unfathomable, majestic feeling, making others dare not refute them. Gings and Gu Yu could only retreat, and stood guard at the entrance of the forest. You are indeed interesting. Zi Jingxing leaned against the tree trunk, as he looked at her in amusement. He was a noble and precious young master, but, unexpectedly he had a sharp vision like the bloodshed during the battle, and that monotonous tone had a cold chill in it. After all, he was one who has seen blood on the battlefield. What does Marquis Zi wants to say? Shen Miao questioned. Zi Jingxing suddenly appeared, and naturally it was not for an idle chat. Although this person was young, his actions were decisive that even the old Marquis was incapable to control him. The way he handles things was more presumptuous, making others unable to clearly understand his course of actions. Prince Yu residence is lacking a Wang Fei, and that cripple seemed to have taken an interest in you, so I wanted to say a word of congratulations. His manner of speaking was unclear, however to use the term cripple on Prince Yu could be considered as bold, but coming from Zi Jingxing there was a trace of contempt and mockery, as if Prince Yu was an extremely dirty thing, and nothing more. This person's aspiration was very high. Shen Miao was deeply in thoughts, but, on the surface, she did not show any significant impact, as if she had forgotten what this calm look would mean to the other's eyes. Zi Jingxing suddenly took a step forward. He had such a tall stature that Shen Miao's entire self was covered by his shadow. That purple-clad youth slightly leaned forward, and to her ears said, "You indeed already knew about it." A scent of cold bamboo fragrance spread out, as his voice was deliberately suppressed as if it had some kind of ambiguous magnetic force. This action was also equivocal, making Shen Miao raise her eyes, as she looked at that handsome face in front of her. The corner of his lips hooked up, adding some evil touch to his smile. But she was after all not a real budding young lady. Her eyes slightly hang down, as she said, "So, what if I know, and what if I don't?" When Zi Jingxing saw that she remained nonchalant, he did not bother to continue to put on an appearance of a rich playboy, and did not have even a trace of protective feelings for a female, as he pushed her away. There was a piece of paper in his hands, as he smiled a bit frivolously, knowing but not being anxious about your matter but instead worry for historian advisor Jing's second young master. Shen Miao abruptly moved her line of sight, and stared at him fixedly, as she could not help but be a bit brutal with her tone. Is Marquis Zi being too meddlesome? You are nervous because of a piece of paper. Zi Jingxing restored that look of cynicism on his face. What kind of relationship do you have with historian advisor Jing's number 2? To help him to this extent? Or perhaps, what is little Shen girl playing at? Shen Miao's face was as deep as water, as she quietly stared at the paper in Zi Jingxing's hands. The paper was very thin, but it was as heavy, as a rock in her heart. That was her recalling for a long time before she could write The Circulation of Law. In her past lifetime, Pei Lang relied on this essay to be discovered by Fu Ziyu, and afterward became Fu Ziyu's aide to advise strategies for the country. And now when he had yet to reveal his talents, Shen Miao had to cut it off before that possibility happened. Not only that, the most secure approach would be that Pei Lang would never get to serve the imperial family in any capacity. As for the historian advisor Jing's second young master, Zhao Yan, he was from a long line of aristocratic family clans that rose to nobility. Since Ming Qi's imperial family wanted to suppress the old aristocratic family clans, naturally had to support the new nobilities. Historian advisor Jing's family was one of the newer significant support. Historian advisor Jing's eldest young master was a true talent that Fu Ziyu guided personally when he ascended the throne. Historian advisor Jing's family received such grace, and became more rampant and overbearing than Zhao Yan even dared to covet for her Huan Yu. If she was not the mistress of the 6 palaces, and Fu Ziyu had yet to begin to deal with the Shen family, she was afraid that Huan Yu would have suffered brutal schemes. This Zhao Yan's talents were not as high as his elder brother, but was very arrogant, and always liked to speak of his elder brother's achievements like they were his own. His personality was very flawed, and narrow-minded, generally like a scoundrel who will stir shit up. In the past life, Zhao Yan did not enter the official circles, and in this lifetime historian advisor, Jing's family have yet to reach the peak of their heydays. Zhao Jing just entered the officialdom, thus, she used more energy to send Zhao Yan into the magnanimous official circles. She naturally took Pei Lang's circulation of law to give it to Zhao Yan because she knew that in every academy examination, Zhao Yan would let his servants go by the examination papers outside. This year she instructed Gu Yu to arrange for others to replace them with this essay. With Fu Ziyu's personality of cherishing talents, he would bring him over to his side regardless of everything. As for that vain personality of Zhao Yan, he would not confess that this was not his handwriting. With such a person entering Ming Qi's official circles, she would like to see when he meets Fu Ziyu, how these two people would be in a dogfight, cutting Fu Ziyu's powerful arm, and exchanging it with an empty-brained stick of feces. Shen Miao was playing with such a good idea like this, but who knew that Zi Jingxing would interrupt in the middle of it, and make her plan fail for no good reason. Her eyes were flickering, as if thousands of words were all converged to a pair of beast's eyes. Zi Jingxing finally smiled, and lazily spoke, "You need not necessarily look at me with such a hateful expression. This paper was copied by my people, and the original is in the hands on that Zhao family's kid." Shen Miao was slightly surprised for a moment, as she did not imagine that the result was as such. She looked at Zi Jingxing, and became silent for a moment before saying, "Little Marquis has a big heart." "Not big-hearted, it is just that this Marquis has a little self-recognition reputation." Zi Jingxing looked slightly cold, of not liking to meddle in other people's affairs. Just as Shen Miao wanted to speak, she heard Zi Jingxing's voice again. "Now can you tell this Marquis why you write it for historian advisor Jing?" Shen Miao sighed in her heart. Even though she had the heart to tie the Shen and Zi families to the same boat, but now was still not the time yet. Shen and Zi had long-term discords between them, and those cannot be resolved overnight. It had to conspire in a long drawn-out plan, but who knew that Zi Jingxing got involved, disrupting the entire plan up? She did not believe in anyone, as she has her road to walk, be it Zi Jingxing or the Zi family, They were just pieces of chess in the chess game of the world. There would not exist a chess player explaining things to a chess piece. This marquis thought that for you to help Zhao Yan this much, you must have some personal considerations with him, and, thus, wanted to help your lover to snatch the limelight. Zi Jingxing smiled mischievously, as he eyed Shen Miao up and down, after some thinking. Even though the number 2 of the Zhao family was not worthy of respect, his eye for females was indeed not bad. He looked at Shen Miao. She had very beautiful features, but was like the northwestern desert that stings people. Furthermore, to help Zhao Yan meant helping historian advisor Jing's reputation, but you, however, did not help Zhao Jing, but instead that wastrel Zhao Yan, making it seem malicious and duplicitous. His smile harbored malicious intentions, but his words went straight to the target. Little Shen girl, do you have enmity with historian advisor Jing?